Hi and welcome back to AfriTrigger. Thanks so much for clicking on here once more. If you're new here, welcome. Today I'm coming with a new topic on human trafficking and about two Nigerian women to be precise. This case is historic. And before I go into the story of what actually happened, I will tell you why this case is historic. This case is historic because this is the first time in Ireland that people are being convicted for human trafficking. In fact, Ireland has been on the watch list as being the worst country in Western Europe when it comes to dealing with human trafficking. They've never convicted anybody, they don't make enough provisions for the victims, and they are not properly trained to deal with human trafficking. Ireland has been making a lot of effort, but not enough. So this case is historic because it's the first time people are being convicted for human trafficking, and unfortunately, it has to be two African women, two Nigerian women. So these two Nigerian women are based in Mullingar in Ireland. Alicia Edosa, aged 44, and Edith Enogagasi, aged 31. These two women are being tried for human trafficking and organized prostitution. And Edith's husband, Desmond Omonuwa Osaibovo, aged 30, was also tried along with them. Now, Desmond was found not guilty of human trafficking and organized prostitution, but only for money laundering. And so, because they have 3 children, he was granted bail. But the two women are still in jail, awaiting sentencing. In these cases, 4 victims came up to testify. One of the victims, who has a son, said that Edosa lured her from Nigeria, promising to get her a job as a shop assistant and that she will earn like 3,500 euro a month, and brought her through Libya, then Italy, and then finally to Ireland, and that she was even raped in Libya, and that they would push them out on the street every day to work, carrying them to different cities to prostitute, that she had made over 44,000 euro, which the woman was holding. That if she earns like 1,000 euro, the woman would only give her like 10 euro. So she hardly even had enough to eat. And that she was constantly being threatened that they would kill her son, they would kill her family in Nigeria. She was being used as a sex machine and a money-making machine. And the other women also gave evidence. So the judge even said that he hopes this case will now encourage more victims to come out and speak out against human trafficking. Ireland has become a hot spot now for prostitution and human trafficking. Previously in the past, many people were not coming to Ireland. In fact, the Irish people were always migrating out to other countries. At the beginning of the 90s, Ireland had only about 30 asylum seekers that year. But 10 years later, they were having like 10,000 a year. And one thing that made Ireland very attractive is that at that time, in the 1990s, and early 2000 till about 2003, if you had a child in Ireland, that child immediately got an Irish passport. So a lot of people that were going there as asylum seekers. Once they had a child, they were able to remain there. And after that, people continued flocking in there, Africans too, and started developing this human traffic and sex trade, because as the Irish economy is booming, so too sex is booming there. Soul sex is booming there. Just like many of you, as an African and a Nigerian, I feel so bad that for the first case ever, after the whole world has been watching, they have never prosecuted anyone under this law. The first people to be prosecuted are women, and then African women. That is so embarrassing. It's really something of shame. One of the reasons I made this video was not just to bring this to attention, but also to really condemn human trafficking by women. How can a woman take her fellow woman and put her through this dehumanizing experiences? How can you have the heart to bring a young girl all the way from Nigeria, the risk of the desert, all that inhumanity, all the things happening in Libya, girls being abused, being raped, put them on the high sea, risking their life, to bring them to a country and put them out there every day, working for you as sex machines? How can a woman do this to her fellow woman? For us women in the diaspora, these women doing these things, dealing in human trafficking, they are living amongst us. They attend the same functions with us. We go out with them, attend the same functions, party with them, accepting them into the society, into our society and groups, as if they are decent people. Many of them are married to young men who also give them that position in the society. They are married to these young men. They are even helping these men financially, and these men make them look responsible like married women. And we have these women amongst us, and we don't speak out against them and against what they are doing. It is for us African women in the diaspora to call out the African women that are trafficking other women, that are enslaving women, using them as slaves, putting them out there day and night with different men, not minding their condition. Some of them may have to have an abortion and are put out on the road within a few days, if not the same day. They are being beaten, threatened, abused, day in, day out. And this is coming from a fellow woman. There's so much evil in the world today because so-called good people decide to remain silent. But it is time for us in the diaspora to break the silence. We have to say no to slavery. We have to say no to forced prostitution. We have to say no to women exploiting, using and abusing their fellow women. We have to call these women out. These women should no longer feel safe to be in our environment. We have to expose them. That is our duty as women and mothers. those girls being abused, we have to protect them by calling out all slave masters trafficking innocent young girls just to make money.